Hi, friends. I just want to say welcome to the webinar. And I think we have about 1 more minute to go before we get started. And I'd like for you to be able to get an idea as to what questions you want to ask. I already saw a lot of questions that you posted. I'm really excited about that. I just want to make sure that you think about questions along the way, okay? So just be on guard, be asking those questions, and I will see you really soon. Or I'm already, I think you're already seeing me. So I'm just getting ready here to get started. So we are about to get started in just a few moments. So hang on, hang in there, and we'll get going really, really soon. All right. Looking good. Okay. Let me see here. Can you hear me?
No.
I just want to make sure that everyone can hear me. I think. Let me know. Can you hear me? Would you please let me know if you can hear me? I want to make sure that everyone can hear me. It's important that you can hear me. On my side, it says that you can, but I'd like to hear from you if you can hear me okay. So let me know if you can hear me. All good. Okay, great. All right, super. All right, I think we're good then. So I just want to make sure that everyone is here with me now and you can hear me and that you've got questions coming along the way. And people are still logging in. I'm happy to see that. Have a good group, and I think every time we have a really good group, we have a lot of interaction. So as I mentioned earlier, I do have quite a bit of questions that you have already asked, and I will get to all of them. But we're here to talk about the glass of water technique, and as I've mentioned before, it's such a versatile technique, and which is one of the great things about Silva is that there's the techniques that we offer are so practical, easy to use, and they're very versatile. You know, you can apply them in so many different areas. And the glass of water technique is one of those techniques that I find really valuable. When I use the glass of water technique, which is sometimes frequent actually, not as frequent as maybe I use the mirror of the mind, but still I use a glass of water technique pretty frequently. I typically will use it when nothing else seems to work for me. It's one of those techniques that, I would say it's probably the only technique that we have in Silva that makes you have to take a few extra steps, like, you know, go to the kitchen, go to the cupboard, open it up, you know, get a glass, you know, fill it with water so that you can then take it back to your bedroom and utilize it. It's something that you have to do outside of what you have within you. But we also know that the glass of water technique is a very effective technique. It works. It works beautifully. And science has also shown how well it works. The glass of water technique in itself, and I'll give you various applications, is very, very simple. Yes, you know, you get a glass, and it doesn't have to be a very big glass because you have a very big problem. Just a regular glass will do. My glass, I don't have it here with me, I have it in my bedroom, is just a regular sized glass. And I had it marked with, this is all I need to do to find the solution to the problem I have in mind. I just did that because I just wanted to have that special glass that I use only for this purpose. But it really doesn't matter. That's my quirk, okay? So anyways, so I have the glass, you fill it with water, you take it to your bedside, and the last thing you do in the evening is that you're going to get the glass. And as you drink approximately half of the glass, you say to yourself mentally, this is all I need to do to find the solution to the problem I have in mind. And you think of the problem, and then you set the remaining water, half glass of water, by your bedside if you need to cover it because you have pets in the house and you want to protect the water, then cover it. But you put it next to your bedside and you go to sleep. Now, with this technique, we say in the programming, and we can do the programming in a short version of the programming later on today in this webinar. If we have time, if not, we'll send you a link to that. With this programming, you may awaken sometime during the night or in the morning with a clear recollection of the information. be it a solution, an idea, an ability to make a decision, or something along those lines. Now, you will wake up with that information. Now, it says, upon awakening in the morning, even though you have the information, the first thing you do is drink the remaining half glass of water, closing your eyes, tilting your eyes slightly upward, both in the beginning and at the end, and saying to yourself again, repeating the same phrase, this is all I need to do to find the solution to the problem I have in mind. You do this especially if you wake up and you don't have the information, because part of the technique says that that you will attract information. That sometime throughout the day, you will attract it or stumble upon it or have an aha moment or something along those lines. If you get the information upon awakening, which has happened to me most of the time, then I typically will say something to the fact that, I'm very grateful for this information, and express gratitude and appreciation that I did receive the information. But nevertheless, it's a very simple technique. Now, I'm going to share with you different ways of applying it, and I'm just looking to see if I have my manual here, or at least my booklet here that I can work with you later on to make sure that we get it just right. Sandra, can you get me? I'll get it later, okay? But anyways, basically that's how we're going to apply the technique. Now, when we are working with the glass of water technique, several things can happen. You may wake up with a recollection of a dream sometime during the night. So if that is the case, and even if you wake up in the morning with the information, that is the case, it's really important that you have paper and pencil by your bedside ready to write down the information that you're impressed with. Because you know how it is when you wake up with a dream, if you let a few seconds pass, many times that's all it takes for the dream to go away. And so we want to make sure that we grasp the information, that we record it, and then we go back to sleep. And then be able to look at our notes in the morning so that we can then utilize that information to solve problems or to make a decision or whatever it might be, okay? So make sure that you have paper and pencil by your bedside. That will help ensure that you have success with the technique. When research has been done on something similar, they did research basically on the whole incubation process. If you were to ask me, why does this technique work so well? I would say, well, there could be several reasons. One of them is because throughout the night, as you can see on the chartboard back behind me, our frequency is going to go from beta into alpha, theta, delta, and then go back up to alpha, like an alpha beta frequency, which is called REM, and then dip down again, and maybe all the way down to delta again, and be there for a good long while, and then go back up to REM frequencies, which is between alpha and beta, something like that, and then dip down again into the theta frequencies and be there for a good period of time, and then go back up to REM, and then dip down again into the theta frequencies, and then back up to REM. In other words, you're going to be cycling throughout the frequencies of your brain during the night as you sleep. So the interesting thing here is that those frequencies are jam-packed with information that sometimes you can't even access because they're in those very slow frequencies of the brain. The very same frequencies, such as, for example, delta, your slowest frequency, is a very same frequency that's associated with an unconscious state, but it's also the frequency that you are predominantly functioning in till about the age of 2 or 3. At that point, 2, 3, 4-ish, more or less, the frequency that was most predominant compared as, excuse me, as an overall average compared to an adult was in theta frequencies. And you were predominantly functioning with theta brain frequencies until about the age of 7, more or less, 6, 7. And then the frequency shifted as your brain continues to develop and evolve. And then from about the age of 7 to anywhere 11 to 14, then the predominant frequency of brain was that of alpha. And then after so-called puberty, then the predominant frequency for almost the rest of your life is going to be beta. Now, the reason I'm saying this is because you have a lot of information that you experience throughout your entire life, when you were very, very young, that you can't even remember today, during your growing stages or ages. when you were 3, 4, 5, and 6, 7, 8. We recall more information as we have memories of us getting older, but always that information is distorted and it's very minimal what we can recall as far as actual memory or information that can be used for problem solving. Now, as you sleep, and you're cycling throughout the night, when you apply this technique of this is all I need to do to find the solution to the problem I have in mind, or this is all I need to do to know what house to buy, or what job to take, or what city to live in, what a decision that has to be made, how to take the next move, or what next move to take, whatever it might be, whatever you're posing as a question, that's the last thing you do at night, then you're carrying that need. And need is a very powerful tool or facet of problem solving. When you have a real need, you're going to find that you're going to find the solution. You have a need, so you have to get the solution. You have to get the information. And so with this technique, there's a need. I have to solve this problem. I have to make this decision. I need help here. And so when you carry that need within your consciousness into your sleep during the night, and you cycle throughout the night, your intelligence may be searching and picking out the information that's already stored on your brain cells, and then express it to you in a dream or as an old memory. And that's what you want to look out for. So the process that science investigated or really researched is a process that they call incubation. So you allow a thought to incubate all night long, and then in the morning you usually have an idea, a solution, a creative way of handling a situation, and you allow your brain, your mind, your consciousness, your intelligence to put together the information based on all the information you have within you in a creative way that can help you solve a problem or reach a goal or solve or make a decision. I love the process of incubation because I think it works every time. And for me, it has worked every time. Years ago, we've been in this home for 20 years. When my husband and I were house hunting, we came into this house, which is perfect. It's exactly what I wanted. But the price was really, really high. And, we kind of thought about it and thought, let's pass. Let's go look at other houses. We probably saw a good 30 homes here in my hometown of Laredo. And we would keep coming back to this one. We came back to this one, I would look at it again, and it's exactly, again, what I wanted. It's on a corner. It's all one level. It's got 2 large lots. The gardens were amazing. Lots of grass, tall oak trees. It's just beautiful. A swimming pool that you walk out to from all the bedrooms. And it was just everything I wanted. And so we'd look at it again, and then we'd look at each other, and we'd pass and go look at some more houses. And then finally, when on the 3rd time we came to see the house, I told my husband, I said, you know what, I really, really want this house. And he said, well, I said, why don't we make an offer? And he said, well, let me sleep on it. And sure enough, he slept on it. He let the whole thought, the whole project, basically the question, incubate during the night. And in the morning, he says, offer them so much. And I was like, what? I felt that we were really lowballing it, but I trusted my husband so much because he's got a real knack to use his inner abilities. He's got this amazing natural knack. And he said, yeah, offer them this much. I thought, wow, that's like a couple of $100,000 less, So I thought, wow. I said, all right. I was slightly disappointed, and then I thought, well, okay, I'll do that. And that was it. I went along, and I called the realtor, and I said, how about, we're offering you this much money. And she stayed so quiet for such a long time that I was like, oh my God. It would seem like an eternity. And she said, fine. I'll let them know, and I'll call you back later. And she sounded like I said, quite disappointed. And I just kind of threw me for a loop. And I thought, you know what, stay positive. My husband slept on it. He came up with that number. He just didn't pick it up from nowhere. It just kind of came to him. And So let's trust in the process. And sure enough, within 30 minutes, she called me back, so excited. The house is yours. The house is yours. Oh my God, I can't believe you got the house. Everyone's talking about it. And all the people and all the realtors are talking about how they can't believe you bought the house for that price. And I mean, I'm telling you, the house is amazing. We've been here for 20 years now. We love the house, and it's only gotten better and has grown with us. And I'm thinking, like, this is the kind of thing that we're able to do when we just sit on it for a while. We don't have to make a rush decision on anything. I would always say, like, just sleep on it. Just let it incubate. Let's see what comes up to you in the morning, and let's see what creative ways your brain and mind put thoughts together and information together to help you to solve a problem or reach your goal or make a decision. Now, for me, that's just one way that I believe, and it's no way of really saying, but because I believe in this stuff so much, it's really hard to prove, because a lot of things, fall into maybe like a woo-ish kind of an approach if you were to ask a scientist or a researcher. But for me, that makes a lot of sense, because I have a lot of anecdotal evidence from Silva graduates throughout the world of how well this technique works. Another one is that when you enter sleep, your intelligence, your awareness or consciousness, however you want to look at it, that part of you that is always aware, that's always connected to all information that exists, that is part of the subjective spiritual internet network, basically, has the freedom to roam around and seek out that information that you can then bring and show it to you, or in a dream or a flash of insight or an aha moment or whatever it might be. And again, then you're able to wake up with the information sometime during the night or in the morning. So again, allow that to be a possibility in your own mind, that as you're sleeping, a part of you is out there looking for the information and then brings it back to you. And how's the only way that it can show you if it's not going to be through your thoughts, your images, or your dreams. And you can expect that to be a possibility. Another possibility is that it's part of your DNA, part of your encoded information that you're able to then tap into as you sleep throughout the night. And the fourth possibility that I look at as well is that we have a tendency to attract what we need. And need is a powerful facet of all problem-solving projects, all problem-solving, period. So when you have a need, not only will you seek out the information, creatively think about it, or attract it. Because once you think about it, you have a tendency to attract it, and or possibility number 5, spot it. Notice it, look out for it. I remember having, walking down the street in the busy being in New York City, in a busy morning, going to my seminar, and as I'm walking down, I'm having this concern in my mind. I've got this project that I've been working on, and I did the glass of water, and I didn't wake up with anything. But sure enough, as I'm walking down the street, the people next to me were talking about exactly what I needed to hear. And I thought, like, oh my God, that's it. That's exactly what I need. And sure enough, it kind of came to me in the most unexpected way, the information that helped me to solve a problem. And I was really, really grateful for that. So throughout the day, there's another way that you're going to attract it and or spot it. Sometimes you'll spot the information because it's in your mind. You've got this concern, you've got this problem, you have this project. You will be able to spot it in a way that you don't typically spot it other times. Maybe you'll open a book, and you'll be staring right at the information that you need to solve your problem. Or maybe you'll turn on the television exactly at the time that you need to solve that problem or to avoid a problem. That happened to me, I believe it was in 2015. It was November of 2015. I think I was in the Ukraine. I think it was in Ukraine. I know it's either there or Moscow, but I think I was in the Ukraine. And anyways, I'm thinking about it, but it was around those times, and I was getting ready to getting dressed up to go to my seminar. And I had this this feeling to turn on the television at the time just to catch up on news or what have you. And when I turn on the television, which I don't typically do, the first news item that was there was about the many people who needed to get a visa to go to Brazil for the Olympics. And I thought, what? Visa? I was going to go to Brazil 2 weeks later, and I didn't have a visa. And so I turned on the television at just the right moment to be able to listen to the fact that I needed to have a visa in a timely manner, where I was able to apply for the visa, and I had to go to Houston to go pick it up, which is about a 5-hour drive for me, but go to Houston in a timely manner to have the visa in a perfect time to get to Brazil. And I'm thinking, that's how this stuff works. This is it's amazing how your intelligence is always taking care of you. It's always on the alert, always looking out for you. And it's not the first time that these kinds of things happen. I mean, so again, be expected to or attracted in much the same way. I always give the example of when we maybe want to buy a new car. And you want to make sure the car is exactly what you want. And you think, you know what, I'm going to go and I'm going to design this car at the dealership. I'm going to make sure I've got it all taken care of and make sure it just works out perfectly. I mean, absolutely no problem. So you go to the dealership and you design your car, the color, the details, the kind of hubcaps or the inside, whether it's leather or otherwise, the color of the interior, the different accessories that you can have, and you go to great detail to do this, and you say, gosh, there's not going to be another car like this because I'm creating this car. It's going to be such an expression of who I am. Well, fine. They give you 2-3 months, before the car is designed and created and delivered. And when you go and pick it up, it goes, yeah, that's my car. It's amazing. Yeah, and you drive out of the dealership with this car that just is so you, only to see down the road, just maybe a few blocks down the road, another one exactly like yours. And maybe another day or two, you see another one exactly, or that looks exactly like yours. And you think, like, why didn't I see these cars before? And you come to realize, because it wasn't part of your consciousness. It wasn't there yet. And now that it is, I mean, you spot them everywhere. I'll give you a little example. Just turn around and look at your environment and look at everything that's blue. And when you're only seeking out to find blue, you're going to find blue everywhere you turn and look. Change it to red. Change it to anything else. Think about the story about the blue feather. When you think about the blue feather, that you're going to have the blue feather appear somewhere. And I remember one time being in, again, I think it was in Chicago, or maybe no, it was New York as well. And I was going to take the subway and my zipper busted. I'm thinking, oh, great. Now what am I going to do? It was my pet zipper, luckily, but it busted and I needed to pin it up in some way because otherwise my pants were going to fall down. And I looked everywhere in my purse for a safety pin. I couldn't find a safety pin. And at that time, I didn't typically carry safety pins. Now I do. And so I kept looking and looking. I said, God, I really, really need a safety pin. So when I came out of the bathroom stall to wash my hands, I looked down and sure enough, there was a safety pin. And you think, like, how does that work? Did I create it? Did I manifest it? Did I actualize it? Was it already there and I just hadn't seen it before? How does that work? I mean, I don't really care how that works, to tell you the truth, in that way. I just know that when I have a need, it happens. It works out. And need is a very important aspect of all problem solving. I'll say it again and again and again. And in the Silva programs, when you've gone through like Silva intuition training and you're doing all your projection exercises, there's a statement at the end of the projection exercises where you have established many points of reference with what you see, hear, taste, touch, and smell with your mind senses. And it says, whenever you have a sincere desire to solve a problem. So a problem, when you have a problem, you have a need. And when you have a sincere desire to solve a problem, your mind and your subjective points of reference will come together and be there for you to solve that problem. So remember that. And those of you especially who have gone through the Silva intuition training, you have already been programmed with that knowing, that ability, that when you have a problem and you have a sincere desire to solve it, your mind will come up and present all these points of reference or information or whatever it is that you need to solve that problem. Now, obviously, the greater the problem, the easier it's going to be to tap into those bits of information or to attract that information, or the greater the desire to solve the problem, the greater it's going to be your ability to tap that information or attract that information and apply for problem solving, okay? Because that's just the way it works. So I want you to be very aware of that as we move forward, and you begin to apply your technique. Remember, the size or the intensity of the problem has nothing to do with the size of the glass of the problem. I have this little comic character, this comic drawing that has a man in bed with like 100 half-filled glasses around his bedside, and the title of it says "The Executive." So it does, you can do that because the questions might arise: how many glasses or how many problems can I solve per each session or every glass? And I would say one main project per glass. But if you can do that one main project every night or every other night or however you feel comfortable, depending on your ability to attract information and how often you want to, or wake up in the middle of the night or in the morning with this information, however you feel comfortable, then that's the way it's going to be, okay? So we'll be able to take on questions and make sure that we have plenty of time to answer all of your questions. So first of all, let me ask my assistant, can you give me my red iPad? It's in the dining, in my living room over the bar area. Okay, so first of all, let me answer some questions here really quickly, and we can start with a few questions here, a few questions there, and then review the technique and be able to work on other ways to apply the glass of water. Because for the glass of water technique, I heard it's recommended to use the technique every day. I try to, but I find missing using it for the same thing days in a row. Is that a correct way of using the technique? I wouldn't necessarily use the technique every day. My father used to always say, give it all you've got, in your programming, give it all you've got. Have great desire to solve the problem, a great expectation that it's going to come your way, and a belief that it will. So that desire, belief, and expectation, those subjective energies that have to be present in all of your techniques, when you apply all of your techniques. If you don't truly desire to solve a problem, if you don't truly believe that's going to happen, and if you don't really expect the results, why bother? Don't even bother. You're wasting your time. Okay? So let's make sure that we notice that. And he would say, whenever you do that, give it all you've got. And when you give it all you've got, then wait at least 3 days to get some kind of feedback. Because as you're applying this glass of water technique and saying, this is all I need to do to find a solution to a problem I have in mind, and you hold the problem in your mind, then when you give it with that great emphasis, then you put your glass aside and you go to sleep, then you're going to find, thank you, then you're going to find that you're going to attract the information. When you're programming, you're transmitting or to yourself or out into the universe your needs. So if it goes out into the universe, then allow the universe enough time to send back, the information that you're requesting. So one is in transmission mode, when you put, I need this information to solve this problem. And the other one is to shift your antennas to receiving mode. So I would recommend that you do this once every 3 days at most for the same problem, because you may solve the problem right away or that same day. So when I wake up in the morning and I don't have the information, I drink the remaining half glass of water and I say to myself, this is all I need to do to find a solution to a problem I have in mind, because then I expect that I'm going to get the information sometime throughout the day through a flash of insight or something along those lines. Now, if at the end of the day, I know it sounds kind of hokey maybe to some of you, but if at the end of the day you still feel like you didn't get the information, then I would say that you probably did get it, but you missed it. So my question to myself before I go to sleep at night is, if I did receive the information and I missed it, what was it? And then I clear my mind by thinking of something unrelated, and then come back to the question, and whatever comes to mind is what I'm going to go with. So I typically, when I ask myself that question, that's enough for me to be able to open my creative channels and come up with the information that I need. Okay, so just for you to remember that's always a possibility for you to apply. Now, that's one question. So I'm just gonna look to see if I have that here. So I can make sure I share with you exactly what gets programmed into that technique, and you're very clear with that. Here it is. Okay, so another question is, let me see here. So thank you. You're welcome. When I want to use a glass of water technique, I have most of the time so many issues in my head, and I find it very difficult to pick one out. What to do? You pick the most important thing. What's really now on your mind? I mean, you start off with the things that are going to change your life the greatest, and then move with those things as you're solving problems. If you solve 1, 2, or 3 problems in a month, oh my God, that's amazing. And so all these issues have taken a long time to build and to develop. So what's the urgency in having to solve everything in one night? So take one at a time and start with the most important one, and then take it from there. So I think it's really important that we look at it from that point of view, because really, you're in control of this. So make sure that you are in control of this and that you're managing it very effectively, but solve the most important things that are affecting your life or taking away from the joy of living first before you move on to something else. So that's one thing. Another question is do I have to repeat the question while drinking the water? The question is so simple. This is all I need to do to solve the problem I have in mind, and you think, or to find the solution to a problem I have in mind, and you think of the problem. And then you as you're drinking, half the water and put the glass away. That's all you need to do. That's it, nothing else. Okay, so in the morning, again, if you got the information, you might want to give gratitude as you drink the remaining half glass of water, but drink the remaining half glass of water, because you are going, that's where the technique was programmed. So you want to make sure that you drink the remaining half glass of water as well. Here's a glass of water. Let me share with you what basically goes into the actual technique of the glass of water. Okay, so I'm going to say this if we have time for the meditation, I think we will, that during the meditation, I'm going to have you go through like a role-playing session of the glass of water. I will now count from 1 to 3. At the count of 3, you will imagine or visualize yourself to be in your own home to go through a problem-solving cycle with a glass of water. So 1, 2, 3, you're now at your home, it's nighttime, and you're getting ready to sleep. So select any problem that you would like to solve. And you know what? Often during the meditation itself, people find the solution, okay? All right, so mentally fill the glass with water, hold the glass. Now, I'm gonna say with both hands. Now, this is not a glass, of course, this is my cup, but I would say if you're doing the glass of water for just problem solving or to make a decision, I would say one hand is fine. But if you're gonna use a glass of water for health challenges, for health situations, then use both your hands in this way. Don't ever let your fingers touch one another. You just have it like this. And as you're drinking approximately half of the water, you say to yourself, this is all I need to do to improve the cramps in my stomach, or this is all I need to do to lower my temperature, or this is all I need to do to strengthen my immune system, whatever the problem may be. Because you're going to drink the water, and that message is going to go into the water itself. Now, if you're going to do it for health reasons, then you hold a glass of water in this way, and you imagine how energy is being projected with your right hand, goes through the water. Imagine how the water is being energized with, give it a color, a blue-white energy, your blue-white human energy field. It's being collected with your left hand as you're drinking the water. Now, this water is being impressed with your intention. Now, we've known and studied with Masaru Emoto's work that you can project your intention to water, and that water appears to be a sort of a liquid recorder that takes on your intentions at the molecular level, and that these intentions, this information that is being absorbed at the molecular level, shared from molecule to molecule. Now, the great fact is that we are mostly made of water. So because we're mostly made of water, and this water is already impressed with your intention to heal, or your stomach, or to help your heart beat better, to strengthen your immune system, or to help you sleep more soundly, whatever it might be. And as you project your intention and you drink the water, then you allow that water to communicate that intention to other water molecules in your system. That's the whole concept behind Masaru Emoto's work. And then you're able to benefit from the energized water as you drink it at night for health purposes. Now, if you're only doing it to solve a problem or to make a decision, then typically the original way that it was explained is to just get the glass of water, and at nighttime, and you don't need to go into your level to do this, just simply sitting by your bedside, closing your eyes, tilting them slightly upward as you think, this is all I need to do to solve the problem I have in mind, and you think of the problem, hold it in your mind as you're drinking the water, should be enough to alert your intelligence, your awareness, your consciousness, and let the incubation process take care of that, okay? So I'm going to say that, but here I'll say hold the glass of water with both hands, which you can, making sure that the fingers of one hand don't touch the fingers of the other hand. And while you're mentally drinking approximately half of the water, you close your eyes, turn them slightly upward, and mentally say to yourself, this is all I need to do to find the solution to a problem I have in mind. Mentally put away the remaining half glass of water so that you may drink it first thing in the morning. Now, mentally get into bed and go to sleep. I'll soon stop talking to you, and when you hear my voice again, it will be morning. Relax. So I'll be quiet for a little while just to help you to cozy into your imaginary sleep state. Now it's now morning. You're now mentally getting up from your bed. Hold a glass of water with both hands again, making sure the fingers of one hand don't touch the fingers of the other hand. Mentally drink the remaining half glass of water, close your eyes, turning them slightly upward, and mentally saying to yourself, this is all I need to do to find the solution to the problem I have in mind, and this is so. That's all I'm going to say, okay? With this formula, there's no need to use a 3-to-1 method to enter level 1. You will enter level 1 automatically as you close your eyes and turn them slightly upward as you drink the water, okay? So this is basically how we apply the glass of water technique. And it's one of those techniques that is so easy, so practical to use, and you typically are going to have water with you at somewhere. I mean, most of the time, water is quite accessible to us, and we're able to work with water very easily. Sometimes I have people ask, well, can I use other kind of beverages? Why? Why not just use water? You know, it's right there. And most of the time, especially with health challenges, I would say use or distilled water or a good high quality water. I mean, you don't want to have any contaminants in the water, and so you don't want to be able to do. You want to make sure that you're doing the right thing there. Okay. So other questions. Let me see. You will be able to have a replay of this. Yes. So Chris asks, if I drink water at bedtime, I need to get up at night. Do I drink the other half then? No, in the morning. The programming says in the morning when you awaken. Okay, so that's when you're going to do that. Klaus is saying, thank you for holding the glass of water webinar. May it mainly be used for getting a specific answer to a certain question? Typically, yes. So you're going to have a specific problem or need to make a specific decision, or take a specific, this direction or the other, make a choice. So yes. And then again, we already said, yes, you can use it to solve health problems as well. It's a technique that you're going to use at night because we incorporate the process of incubation, all right? In the program that we have, Dynamic Healing Seminar, which we're going to do that online next month, or later on this month, actually, there's a way to work with energized water anytime during the day, but that's something that I explained in the dynamic healing seminar. So let me see, glass of water, which practice, okay. It is, it's part of the Silva Life System Home Study course, Herman, okay, because you asked if it's one of the CDs, it is, okay. Can we master the glass of water technique? Chantel is asking if we still need an alarm clock to wake up. You can. You might just want to make sure that that it's part of the program, basically. I mean, you know that you're going to wake up with your alarm clock. So when in the morning when I awaken, because basically here it says, this is all I need to do to find the solution to the problem I have in mind. So your intelligence already knows that you need an alarm clock to wake up because you still haven't mastered your mental alarm clock. And so it's already part of your knowing. So that being said, your intelligence is really great. It's up to date with everything. You don't need to update it in a new way. It knows what's happening in your life. So knowing that, then when you apply this technique, this is all I need to do to find a solution to the problem I have in mind, then when the alarm clock wakes you up in the morning, the first thing you do is get the glass and drink it. Chances are you might already have the information by that time. You just need to stick to it. Stick to it with the desire to make it work and solve a problem, the belief that it will, because you're primarily made of water, because you can release information that's trapped in your slow frequencies of brain, because you're exposed to information all the time, because your intelligence can go out and roam it, because it might be in your DNA, because you have the power of attracting information. I mean, because all these things. So believe that it does work and expect it to happen. So yes, it's gonna be working for you anyways. Go with that, okay? I wake up at all times except the time I said I wanted to wake up. Don't let any of that get in your way. Just, you're aiming for the solution, okay? Just go for, I'm gonna get the solution one way or the other because I need it. And when there's that need, then you have a very special energy that's behind that need, all right? Okay, good. Let me see, any other questions? Do you need to drink all the water in the glass in the morning when you want to find the solution, or can you just drink a sip of water? In the morning, the program says, when you awaken, you drink the remaining water that's in the glass. So again, don't get yourself a big old glass of water. Get yourself a little, or just an average sized glass where you can drink half at night and half in the mornings. Keep it simple, okay? I'm gonna get after you guys by asking questions that you can pretty much enter the information too, okay? All right, there's a job I really want to land. I want it so badly that I want to throw the whole kitchen sink doing all the techniques like water, mirror the mind, 3 fingers, etc. Is that okay, or am I overdoing it? That's okay. When I really want something, are you kidding me? I'm gonna do everything it takes to make it happen. Give it all I've got and then go for it. And you can combine techniques. I remember years ago, I had developed, I'm talking about a long, long time ago, developed an allergic reaction to cats. Now, I had cats before, didn't seem to react to cats, but then all of a sudden I had this severe allergic reaction to cats. Well, I did the mirror of the mind, and it lessened the reaction somewhat, but not completely. And then I was a little concerned about that because I travel a lot. And what if I'm sitting next to someone who has cat dander on them, and then I start to react in an airplane, and I start to wheeze, and my throat shut down, my eyes would blister, I get blotches, and I thought, I don't want this, and I certainly don't want to carry an injection with me like my health caretaker had suggested, just in case. No, I want to beat this thing. So anyways, it was a time in my life I wasn't like behaving all that great. So it's just interesting to note, because when I applied the glass of water technique, I said, this is all I need to do to find a solution to this allergic reaction I'm having, severe allergic reaction I'm having to cats. The weirdest thing. So that was my concern. And I put the half glass of water away. In the morning, I woke up with such an old memory. I must have been like maybe 7 years old, something like that. And we were 10 in the family, so go figure. Everybody has chores to do no matter what. You're able to, at that time, you're able to walk, you're able to communicate, you're able to understand instructions, you're going to have a chore. So being at 7 years old, then it was already getting dark, the sun was going down. My mom had a few things left on the clothesline to take down like socks and maybe some underwear, kitchen towels, nothing major. But she said, go out and get the what's left of the clothing line that it's within your reach and within my ability. So I said, fine. So I go outside with my basket, and so I'm taking down these, different little items of clothing that were there and folding them up because she insisted that we fold them there, not bring them all jumbled up. And so as I'm doing all this, I could hear, because inside the house, and I say I could hear that because at that time we didn't have like air conditioned units, no matter what. I mean, Laredo's very hot, but I never remember having a problem with heat when I was a little girl. We had big windows where the air would just flow through, and it was just great, but also sound would come out. So, those more simpler moments when nobody was concerned about people, peeping toms or anything like that either. But at any rate, we had all these sounds coming out, and I could hear all these happy sounds inside the house. My father apparently had come home with something that made everybody happy. And I was really curious to go see what it was. And so I was hurrying up and folding the clothing to rush inside the house. And when I rushed inside the house, this is a memory, mind you, that came to me with a glass of water. When I rushed inside the house, my sister, who's a year older than I am, and we were always like the sibling rivalry kind of thing, she's holding this cutest little Siamese kitten in her arms, and I want to hold it, and she like kind of does like no and no and no kind of thing, and I'm like getting really upset because she won't let me hold the kitten. At which point I get a clothing pin and I clip it to the tip of the kitten's tail, and the kitten jumps out of her arms and is like going around in a circle, rah, 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 and is totally freaking out. And I'm the one who did it. I'm the guilty one. I'm the bad girl. And I got spanked and sent to bed, and everybody was angry where I'm typically the good girl. I was the bad girl, and I felt really guilty about it, and I felt badly about it, and I had done something horrible, and I couldn't sleep that night. It was that kind of thing. And as I'm thinking about, God, that's a weird memory to remember, it just dawned on me, wow, I'm being a bad girl now, basically. Maybe I was misbehaving or hanging around with the wrong people, drinking too much. And that was during the tough time in my life I have shared with so many of you. And I made the connection that now I was doing a lot of the same things that I felt badly doing when I was a little girl for being a bad girl now. And now every time I came across a cat, I was reacting very seriously to it. I had a very serious reaction to the cat. And when I made that realization, I made the connection, I thought, oh my God, that's it. That reaction began to go away and get less and less and less and less until I was able to do away with it completely. And I was so amazed by that realization that came to me by the release of an old memory of when I was like 7 years old. That was kind of cool. Another time I used it, I had lost my car keys like for 3 or 4 days. And I had this big party at the house, and I had a lot of Silva instructors come over, and it was during one of our convention times. And so there's a lot of people there. And then in gathering all the groceries to get ready for the party, my keys got lost. And I couldn't find the keys anywhere. So I kept looking and looking and looking. 3 or 4 days went by. I said, enough, let me do the glass of water. So when I said this is all I need to do to find the solution to a problem I have in mind, I've lost my keys. I don't know where they are. What came to my mind in the morning was like a Polaroid snapshot, a picture of trash bag that the keys were in the trash bag. And I thought, the keys fell into the bags, and now it's in the trash. So I had a woman who would help me from time to time come to the house to clean. And I called her. I said, I know where the keys are. She goes, oh, I'm so happy you know what the keys are. Where are they? I said, they're in the trash. And she goes, oh my God. She goes, do you know how many bags of trash we have ready to be picked up? She said, you had a party a few days ago. The trash comes today. She goes, they're going to pick up the trash. I said, well, they're in the trash. So at that point in time, I said, let's go outside. Let's go find them. So what I did to locate the keys in like maybe 20 trash bags, who knows how many, there's a lot of them, was that I put my 3 fingers together and so that I could attune. And we've talked about this before. So that I could attune to the metal that I was so familiar with called my keys. Now I was able to find this missing object by feeling my connection to that matter that I typically hold in my hands every day. So I walked around the trash bags, and then I got this strong feeling that it was in one particular bag. And I said, they're in that bag. I knew it. I just knew they were. And sure enough, when we emptied out the trash bag, the keys were there. So, I mean, I have used a glass of water so much, and I use it a lot for healing, not only myself, but my pets and my plants. So whenever I need to really boost my plants a little bit, I energize the water and I give it to them. And for me, I mean, they seem to respond beautifully. And I just think that you'll find that you'll have a lot of good feedback from that. So any questions? Because I'd like to just guide you through a short meditation just to re-impress the glass of water. So it can be, so Tanika is asking, can a plastic container or ceramic be okay? You know, I'm one to believe any container can be okay. I wouldn't let anything limit us, but we do call it the glass of water. Glass seems to be a more natural element than maybe foam or plastic. You know, ceramic might work beautifully because it's maybe made of maybe clay, perhaps, you know, whatever. You be the judge of that. If it's going to interfere with your belief in having a successful outcome, then just use a glass. You know, everybody has a glass or can purchase a glass for pennies almost, you know. So, you know, make it your special glass. I have my special glass that I like to use because, you know, it just means a lot to me when I use a glass of water. So I hope that helps. But you decide. You know, you decide. If I'm somewhere and there absolutely is no glass, I'll use whatever I've got. Okay, so I'm going to give you a hug too, Chantal. All right. Hey, Dolly, it's good to see you here. Love to see that you're on the call. So good to connect. We should connect with each other, and I'll give you a call, and you give me a call so we can talk, okay? Love to see you again. Let me see. I wanted so bad that I wanted to throw that. It was you who said that. Very cool. All right, so it doesn't seem like you have apart from the ones that we've already answered. And so I'll tell you what, let's do a little meditation. You want to? All right. Okay. Remember, you can also use this to build desire in you to want to quit smoking or quit drinking or quit abusing drugs. Say this is all I need to do to build more and more desire and inner strength to manage my addiction or my addictions or whatever it might be. So be creative. The applications will be as many as your creativity are going to allow. All right. So you're going to be the judge of that. And I really, really hope that you use it as a real valid technique for all the reasons we explained. I mean, there's so many reasons why this technique would be so effective for you, besides the fact that you consist predominantly of water and that you are an intelligent being. You deserve to have the best. And this is another tool that's there for you and very accessible for you to make the most of this wonderful living experience. All right. Okay. Close your eyes. Get comfy, take a deep breath, and as you exhale, relax your body completely from head to toes, releasing tensions and pressures along the way. Breathe slowly, deeply, and rhythmically as you relax your body part by part, starting with your scalp and moving slowly downward throughout your body, all the way down to your toes. Relax. Relax. Take another deep belly breath, and as you exhale, relax your mind by thinking of a tranquil and passive scene. Any scene that makes you feel tranquil is good. Enjoy this scene as if you're actually there, engaging all of your mental senses. And enjoy. Take another deep belly breath. And while exhaling, just cozy into this wonderful inner state and relax even more. It's a wonderful feeling to be deeply relaxed, a very healthy state of being. To deepen your inner state, I'm going to count from 10 to 1. On each descending number, you will feel yourself going deeper and you will enter a deeper, healthier state physically and mentally. 10, 9, feel going deeper. 8, 7, 6, deeper and deeper. 5, 4, 3, deeper and deeper. 2, 1. You are now at a deeper, healthier level of mind, deeper than before. We will now impress the glass of water technique, a formula type technique that you can use for problem solving. At night, just before retiring, select any problem or project you would like to solve. Mentally get a water glass and fill it with water. You will then hold the glass of water with both hands, making sure the fingers of one hand do not touch the fingers of the other hand. While mentally drinking approximately 1/2 of the water, you close your eyes, turn them slightly upward, and mentally say to yourself, "This is all I need to do to find the solution to the problem I have in mind." Then put away the remaining half glass of water, go to bed and sleep. In the morning, upon awakening, again, hold a glass of water with both hands, making sure the fingers of one hand do not touch the fingers of the other hand. And while drinking the remaining half glass of water, close your eyes, turn them slightly upward, and mentally say to yourself, "This is all I need to do to find the solution to the problem I have in mind." With this programming, you may awaken during the night or in the morning with a vivid recollection of a dream that contains information that you can use for solving the problem. Or during the day, you may have a flash of insight that contains information that you can use for solving the problem. In some cases, a coincidence may occur that will allow you to solve the problem. I will now count from 1 to 3. At the count of 3, I will cause a sound with my fingers. At that time, you will visualize yourself in your own home to go through a problem-solving cycle. 1, 2, 3. Visualize yourself in your own home. It is nighttime, and you're ready to go to sleep. Select any problem you would like to solve. Do that now. Mentally, fill a glass with water. Hold a glass of water with both hands, making sure the fingers from one hand do not touch the fingers of the other hand. While you are mentally drinking approximately half of the water, close your eyes, turn them slightly upward, and mentally say to yourself, "This is all I need to do to find the solution to the problem I have in mind." Now mentally, put away the remaining half glass of water so that you may drink it first thing in the morning. Now mentally, get into bed and go to sleep. I will soon stop talking to you. When you hear my voice next, it will be morning. Relax. It is now morning. You are now mentally getting up from your bed. Hold a glass of water with both hands, making sure the fingers of one hand do not touch the fingers of the other hand. Mentally, drink the remaining half glass of water, closing your eyes, turning them slightly upward, and mentally saying to yourself, this is all I need to do to find the solution to the problem I have in mind. And this is so. With this formula, there's no need to use the 3-2-1 method to enter level 1. You will enter level 1 automatically as you close your eyes and turn them slightly upward while drinking the water. If you're using this for health purposes, then take a few seconds to imagine how the energy from the right hand is penetrating the water, energizing it with your positive intentions for health, and being collected by the left hand. Once you imagine the energy that has energized the water, then you drink the water and saying to yourself, this is all I need to do to find the solution or to improve my health in this particular area or that area. Just state whatever the intention is as you drink the water. Repeat the process in the morning. Continue to breathe slowly and rhythmically and relax. Feeling well and listening to my voice, return to this place and this time. Eyelids remain closed. Every time you use these levels of mind, your ability to control your thoughts, beliefs, and your life increases. You find you're more confident and dynamic. You become increasingly aware of the potential in using your mind to help you in the enjoyment of living. Realize that you are responsible for the control of and the richness and joy of your own life. In a moment, I'm going to count from 1 to 3 and cause a sound with my fingers. At that moment, you will open your eyes, be wide awake, feeling fine and healthy, feeling better than before. 1, 2, coming out slowly now. 3, eyes open, wide awake, feeling fine and healthy, feeling better than before. Well, hello, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the meditation and you feel like you're going to be able to utilize this in the most effective of ways, okay? I was talking to a friend of mine just before this particular webinar, and she's a Silva director in France. Her name is Di Pasco, and she shared with me a story knowing that I was going to do this webinar that she read in a book. And she says that she read a story about how the Aboriginals have always used dreams to solve problems. And in their specific approach, what they do is they get a small shell and they fill the shell with water. And they drink approximately half of the water in that small shell and then drink the remaining half of water that's in the small shell in the morning. So isn't that interesting? And they've been doing this for thousands of years. And here we have a glass of water. So size doesn't really matter, okay? Just thought I'd throw that in. And but do get yourself a glass and start working with that technique. It's so easy to do and can bring amazing results. So thank you so much for being here, and be on the lookout for future online webinars, workshops, and online trainings, which we plan to do later on this month on dynamic healing, working with all kinds of healing energies, including magnetic, electrical, and human energy fields for assisting the healing process and the healing of all aspects of your life from a holistic perspective. So I hope to see you then. And for now, thank you for joining in, and we'll see you again sometime really soon. Bye.